Hey everybody, welcome to another question and answer. So Jimmy's not here, but you're going to be seeing a lot more of Jimmy. We're going to be doing a new program. I just wanted to talk about it a little bit more. We're going to be I'm looking to add a lot of content to the channel, to the YouTube channel, the free stuff. And it's going to be with Jimmy. It's not going to be the online class quality. We're going to be doing it with a GoPro. We're just trying something new. We've been throwing this idea out in other shows. What we're going to be doing is I'm going to have a GoPro, and Jimmy's going to be doing a wide variety of tasks for me. We're going to try to film it on a Saturday, which doesn't make any difference for the videos, but we're looking to do probably 3 videos a week, right, Patrick? And Patrick's going to have to be doing the editing. But I'm thinking that Jimmy comes in for an hour, or probably about an hour or an hour and a half. We're figuring about 20 minutes per video. And we're going to try to just really inundate the channel. We just want to increase, because we notice when you don't do that, your channel goes down a little bit and the energy level goes down, and we don't want that to happen. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to call Jimmy in. That's the energy level that will bring it up again. So just as an example, I have one submission from the Facebook. And for all you guys, just if you haven't joined the Facebook forum, Broadway Upholstery on Facebook, please do, because there you can help each other. And we have a lot of people on there that support each other. And so Julie, I'll get right into this. Julie says, I'm going to show you the picture. She asked for some advice on this, I think, in past shows. And she did a beautiful job on a very difficult mid-century piece. And just before I read her comment, I want you to check out the recessed back on that piece, which is, I've never seen that before. And she comments on it. Let me just read it, excuse me. She says, getting there with the mid-century cat scratch chair now. I kept all the tension springs, just replacing the foam in the seat pad. That recessed back gave me a headache, as it would. And, if you see this, she's got a mitered border, and you can see that it goes from the inside to the outside to the recessed back. That is a very difficult job. She did a great job, Julie. You did a good job on this. And on the front, she's got the traditional 4 buttons, which is a real sign of mid-century. And then she's got an interesting deck on that. And she did a really good job in the arms. I congratulate you. That's a good, and it's not an easy job. The only thing left for her to do is the padding. And so on YouTube, so the YouTube channel, with the thing about the YouTube channels, we've been promising new videos and we have not delivered. We apologize for that, but we are busy doing other things. So I just said to Patrick, no, let's go with, he's not available on the weekends, but I can with the GoPro. It won't be the same quality, but we're trying something a little different. We're going to be presenting work for sure, and while Jimmy's working, we're going to be talking while he's working, and maybe a lot of anecdotal stuff. I want to keep it light, nothing too serious. We're not going to get into politics, right, Patrick? Yeah. Or religion, and we're going to just keep it kind of between Jimmy and I. But we're probably going to do a lot of childhood stuff. What our childhood was like. I think you might find it interesting from a Boston standpoint. What Jimmy's perspective on he's from the urban. I'm more from suburban and rural. So a lot of I lived in suburbia, but a lot of my activities as a boy was in rural New England. Jimmy's was in the city. So we're going to be talking a lot about a contrast in childhoods. You might find it interesting from a historical standpoint, because we're getting up there in age. But, I would call both Jimmy and I free-range kids at that, up until probably our young adulthood. But I think you might find it interesting. I think for those of you who watch Jimmy on the question and answer, you'll know what I'm talking about. But I do want to make it entertaining as well as informative. So stay tuned. We're going to start as early as this Saturday. So I don't know how long it's going to take Patrick to post these, because he does have to do a little editing. He's already told me that I need to have the clock, and if Jimmy makes a mistake in his language, I need to mark it, right, Patrick?
Yeah.
I need to mark where it is on the Malcolm will know this on the clock on where it is, so that he doesn't have to go digging. So later on, he doesn't have to go digging for it or look at it. I guess he doesn't want to watch the whole thing, you guys. So I don't blame him.
Well, if I have to, it'd be easier. But if it gets in the way of the way it's going to look, then don't do it. Don't.
Well, we have to be careful with the YouTube, because they have certain expectations and rules that you have to abide by, right? So we have to be careful what we say. We will. Anyhow, we have 2 submissions on YouTube. Boy, that's gone down. Are you sure you didn't get the last one, Patrick?
Yeah, I'm sure that's it.
Okay, so Gigi says, can you give us, this is on upholstering quick tip, repairing coil springs from the top. And I think we show how to repair coil springs from the bottom. Going from the top's a lot harder than going from the bottom. She says, can you give me some idea of the cost of replacing springs? Are you in New England? Well, first of all, replacing springs, she might be confused with this video because we use the old springs in this video. I can remember one time in my whole career where I had to actually replace a spring, maybe twice, where the spring actually broke because these springs are heavy gauge springs. They're seat springs. Now, back springs are a different story. They do break, bend, and become unusable. And Marshall units, which contain a small spring, will wear out after a while. You have to replace them. But coil springs used in upholstered seats, 8-way tied, very rarely do I have to replace them. As a matter of fact, some of the older ones were copper, so you never want to replace a copper spring. And the ones they have today are steel, otherwise they're steel. So I would not worry about that. So we're not replacing springs, we're repairing the bottom on the top, we're retying them. But as far as cost of replacing a spring, something like that, if somebody comes to me and they need, we've kind of put a pause on repair work, but I think we might have to start repair work again because, a lot of times those small jobs turn into big jobs. So, saying no to a small job sometimes might not be a good idea. So we're revisiting repair work. But a repair like this, to repair it from the top, probably would be about $350, and to repair it from the bottom might be $150. So there is a big difference, a couple of $100 worth at least. So then we have Tib, and this is about the Upholstery Show Live. Thanks for addressing my little rocker. I'm in law enforcement, so I log in and watch when I can. Global World Boss was a furniture company through the Depression, was able to stay in operation when others had to close. The lady who gave it to me was in her 70s, and she recalled it being in her mother's room as a child. I named my little rocker Pinky and wanted to find a date-appropriate fabric for her. She reminds me of in my classes, my in-house classes, I know out in YouTube where we got everybody, all walks of life look at us, all different, But in my class, I have some very interesting people. I mean, this go around, I have a surgeon, we have librarians, we have nurses, we have, accountants, like I said, doctors. It's amazing the variety of people that are interested in upholstery. Is most of those people as a side hobby or something, but a real interest. It seems to transcend, upholstery seems to transcend backgrounds and all kinds of things. So we like that. And I have had police officers in my class that over the years. So let's get to a couple of the estimates that I've been getting lately. It has picked up. We talked last week that it was getting a little slow, so maybe the universe answered my call for a little more work. Recently, a customer came in with 6 slip seats. She did come in with her own fabric. We're trying to sell her own fabric. She's an old customer, so we said, well, we do make exceptions. And she already had it, so in all fairness. So we were going to do those. So a slip seat's usually for a very basic slip seat. We get $125 each, in case you're wondering. People really like the fact that they don't need a lot of fabric for slip seats. Usually you can get 2 out of a width. And for 6 slip seats, 3 yards is more than adequate, even with something that has a 15-inch repeat. So no problem there. I have another customer that came down from New Hampshire. She dropped off a sofa. It's an antique sofa. It weighs a ton. It's one of those old heavy ones. And we're putting 3 new spring and down seat cushions in there for her. The fabric came in, so they dropped it off. A little unusual for a customer to drop off something that heavy, but her husband had a pickup truck, so it worked out well for him and me. So that's another job. So that antique sofa, which needs a ton of work, that's a $2,700 job, plus the cushions came to $1,700. So it's a good customer with one piece, and we really appreciate that. Plus the fabric. So there was also an additional, the fabric amount came to $1,100. So it's a good job. We got another customer. This customer is really nice. At first, we worked tirelessly trying to find her fabric. She's got 6 cushions in kind of like a sunroom area. And, patience is a virtue, you guys. So with this customer, I listen. I had to listen a lot because, she the process. Some people are fast in the process. Most people are, because most people are busy. They just want to come in, pick fabric. But with this client, it was we had to kind of slow ourselves down a little bit, take a deep breath. Michaela sent probably, how many do you think you sent to Judy, Michaela? Maybe 16 or 20 different samples?
Yeah.
Something like that. We sent samples out. She wanted to come in to check the samples that she kind of liked that were sent out. So that was 1, 2, 3, at least 3 times back and forth that she came in. A couple of sample sends, a couple of packages. And then finally, I had thought we neared the end, and we had no sale because she couldn't find something. And then Michaela actually came to the rescue, because what she was going for, she was gravitating towards a very detailed pattern fabric, big patterns, and she had small cushions. So Michaela pointed out on one of the fabrics she liked, right? Do you remember, Michaela? She pointed out that it was an overall, right, Michaela?
Yeah.
And that sold that was kind of like one lifesaver left on the job after probably when you got to be careful of this, you guys, but customer service, you have to weigh it, is it, with this particular client, it was 3 to 4 hours at least of upfront work where we don't charge consulting fees, you guys. I don't think anybody out there, if you do, let me know. I don't think you can get away with it in this industry, because this industry is not set for consultant fee. If you're a designer, yeah, but not as an upholsterer or an upholsterer's assistant in the case of Michaela. So you do risk with certain clients, if she just walked, well, that's 4 hours. It's $80 an hour that we bill out, 8, 16, 24, it's $300, $320 that kind of just, you can't recover that. But that's the game. That's the customer service game. It happens to every salesperson out there. I know that, except for plumbers, right? So, any questions or comments, Patrick?
Julie likes the chair you're sitting in.
Yeah, it's funny. I did 4 replacement chairs. The customer, these are leather chairs, and the customer bought 4 more chairs from Wayfair. She bought them; they were already upholstered, and she had me reupholster them in a white fabric because she didn't like these. These are brand new, so she asked me if I wanted them. I said, "Well, I'll take 2," and I took 2. They're brand new.
For free.
Yeah, they're brand new. So I was happy about that. And so then we had another customer come in with 8 slip seats, but these slip seats need to be totally redone. We have to strip them down to the frame and then rebuild them with webbing and burlap, and this is getting all the frills. It's getting the foam, the cotton. It's going to have a welt at the base. So these are $150 each, and we got 8 of them, so that's $1,200. It's not a bad job, but again, on these jobs, your yardages are low, and you should keep them low. I know I won't mention the company, a big company in the New England area, who used to, if you came in with 8 slip seats, they'd say 8 yards. And most people, I'd say 90% of consumers would not know that 8 yards was double the amount of fabric that you need for 8 slip seats. You only need 4 yards. And I never gouge on that end of things. Never. I just don't think it's honest. I mean, the reason that most people don't question this, they don't realize, most people don't understand 54 inches is the width on an upholstery weight fabric. And so they don't, just because somebody doesn't know something doesn't mean you have to take advantage of them. Who was telling me about that old lady, an old elderly woman who wanted to get a phone just to call her grandkids? I don't think it was you two. It was a customer that was telling me. She went into one of these stores, and they sold her the most sophisticated phone. What's the one now on the market, Patrick? The one that is sophisticated on the market, the brand new phone, whatever it is.
I don't know.
Well, they sold it to her, and she didn't know. It's like she came and put it on. I mean, all she wanted was a flip phone. So I think that's the type of thing that doesn't sit well with me. So I'm not gonna.
I don't even know about these phones. I stick with Apple, but
Yeah.
I don't need the latest one.
No, I mean she doesn't know what to do with it.
I don't even know what the best one would be.
Then I had a customer call me, a good customer from a little while ago. I did a big job plus 4 pillows that she wanted to reuse the filling, and I reused the filling. And I looked at them and said, that doesn't look that great, but I delivered them. And she called me just out of the blue and said, can you help me with them? She's nice, so she's an old customer, so I'm going to redo them. I already ordered the filling for those, just the filling, and that's another customer service thing, right? I'm not going to charge her for that. I don't feel as though I would charge her for that. And then you're not going to believe this, Patrick. This job came in today. Guess what the guy's name is? I'm going to tell you what his name is.
What?
Robert Parrish came in the shop today.
Is it actually him?
For all you basketball players out there, you know who Robert Parrish is. He was the center for the Celtics. And how many world championships, Patrick?
They have 3, right? Unless he won another one.
3.
Maybe more than that.
He was with Boston the whole time, wasn't he?
No, he actually played until he was in his 40s. It was crazy.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, Robert Parrish came in the shop, but it wasn't him.
Yeah, I was going to say.
But this chair we're going to feature with Jimmy because it's a really interesting chair. It's an ornate hand-carved chair, and it's got some interesting carvings on it, and I'll just leave it like that. But we're going to be featuring that chair with Jimmy. So stay tuned. Any comments or questions, Patrick? We're a little slow today.
Malcolm says if you don't sell fabric, then charge a consulting fee.
Oh, he charges a consultant fee? That's interesting. Well, this was a fabric sale, so I guess I don't feel so bad. But it was like I said, a last-second lifesaver, thanks to Michaela. And then I got a call. I told you guys I wasn't doing repair work, but sometimes I can't resist. So I got a call from a customer with a good address. He has a Chesterfield sofa bed. If you can believe it, Chesterfield made sofa beds. If you guys know the Chesterfield, the leather with the tufting and everything, and the cushion, they have one cushion, and believe it or not, the cushion was tufted, and it sat over the bed, part of it. I had never seen one before. I didn't even know they made them. So I was intrigued. He just wanted the cushion done. It ended up being a pretty good job, and so it went against 2 things that I said I wouldn't do, leather and repair work. But I saw it, I recognized it as potentially a good job. It turned out to be a good job. It was $1,500 leather, $1,200 labor. So, why not? He doesn't want the buttons back, which is the reason I even looked at the job. I would not do the buttons again because the thing didn't last. I mean, the buttons are coming out, and the leather is all torn because there was too much, the cushioning was too soft. So we're going to be doing that. That's pretty good. So sometimes it's worth it. I'll definitely not do faux leather. And then we have another customer that I've got to get back to. She's got Sue. Did you send out those samples for Sue Denham? I think you did. She should have those by now, right, Michaela?
No, actually, I don't think I did.
Oh.
I was too busy with that person. It was super busy yesterday when we were in there. I didn't even get a chance to. The only time I got to sit and do nothing was when I was eating.
Oh. Well, we were busy yesterday, so yesterday was the first busy day in a few weeks. But she's also paid for those samples, so we got to get them out to her. Actually, are you sure? I mean, maybe you're wrong because I think I.
Oh, if they were 1 yard, then yeah, I've sent them.
Okay, sure. Yeah, you might not have recognized the name. And then we had. So we're getting a lot of slip seats in. I wonder what that means. I wonder what that means. A lot of dining room chairs coming in. Another one for $5. A small job. Customer came in. He's got a very intriguing mid-century side chair, Danish. He had his own fabric. He was there. He just showed up. It's a little unusual that people just show up like that. Usually they call first, and I just took it in, not telling him that we usually do an upcharge on it. I did a small upcharge and took that job in. And then that's about it. So now Michaela has some. I guess this is going to be a short show today because of the lack of inquiries, and right, Patrick. But Michaela, if you can do some of these recent things that have come in, recent estimates, because people like that, especially Janine, and people have been using these to try to. So these are estimates that we get on email, and we have pictures. So what Janine has done, and if you guys want to do it, you're welcome to do it. She takes snapshots of when I hold the picture up, and she catalogs it with my pricing and kind of adjusts accordingly to where she is, which is Australia, either up or down. I'm not sure where they are in their economy. She finds it very informative with pricing and also yardage and styles. So she's collecting, and she's putting them in some type of folder. You want to do the first one?
Sure. This one's Anna.
Anna, okay. So let me hold that up.
She says, "Hello, I want to reupholster a chair. The cushioning is still good and very comfortable, so we don't want to get rid of that. I just wanted to change the cover. I'm not sure if that needs true reupholstering or if a slipcover would work for this type of chair. I would likely also need pickup and delivery from Boston. The chair measures approximately 43 at its widest and 36 at its tallest. I would like to get a quote, price estimate for this type of work."
So you could tell right off the bat, you cannot slipcover this. It's impossible.
Yeah.
I mean, it's possible, but it's going to look awful. I mean, the channels, you can't slipcover channels. So this is going to be, I've done these chairs before, and they are a nightmare. Because they're not an ordinary channeling. And so we need to get at least $1,300 for that. Plus... Yeah, tell her right off the bat, slip coverings.
Yeah.
Just get her off that completely.
1,300.
Yep, and plus 6 yards of fabric. Next one is that Gina.
Yes. Hello, I have 4 of these chairs total. They need to be reupholstered and joints tightened up if possible, or we can do that ourselves beforehand. I have the upholstery already. I was going to attempt this, but no can do with arthritic hands. Could you please provide an estimate for the work? Thank you very much. I'm not sure if she means she already has the fabric.
I don't know. You could just give her the labor cost for now. Say. By the way, for all you guys looking, these chairs here, they have these little plugs in them. Those little plugs, oftentimes you can't save the plugs, and you end up breaking the plugs. And be careful not to damage the wood around the plug. They're a little tricky, some of them, to take off. I usually use an awl. If you try first, though, with a pair of pliers to see if you can pull it out. They don't always work, though, like that. These Danish chairs, this is Danish chairs. So you have to account for that in the labor cost, that you might have to replace those plugs. So I'm going to tell her $250 each, and that she should definitely do the gluing herself before she brings them in. I could refer her out, but I know that, judging from the content of the email, that might be too much of an expense. I don't know if I should do that. I just have a good instinct for this, so why bother? But I do have a great wood person, refinisher, that I used to work in this place, that I refer.
How many yards of fabric?
Each one, I'd say 1 yard each.
So 4 yards.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, somebody sent it's not an estimate request, but it's a email with a picture about what they did.
Just recently, Patricia?
Yes.
Yeah, let's look at that. This just came in. This just came in.
Hi Kevin, this is the piano stool that I contacted you about a couple weeks ago. It was filled with felt and wood shavings, but I've used upholstery foam simply because I couldn't really reuse the wood shavings. I'm not sure whether I did the right thing using GIMP. What would you have used? You mentioned it may have been made during the Second World War. Could it have been the First World War?
Possibly. I use GIMP a lot on traditional furniture. I actually recommend it for traditional furniture. I kind of like it if you can get a close enough match. But oftentimes you're going to be at least 2 or 3 shades off. But I never contrast it. I try to match to the fabric. But double piping is your go-to in case you can't find it. But think about double piping. If you look at this stool, especially a piano stool, your back of your knees are going to hit up against the stool. So it's a very practical reason to use GIMP because it's very flat. Double piping has lift in it, probably like a 1/4 inch of lift. So I notice a lot of times that wears out first, or they can actually, even though it's glued, they can actually pull it off sometimes. So you have to be careful. And the recommendation on when we go we're doing, a lot of times people want to upholster over caning on the top. GIMP is definitely highly recommended for that also because of the flat surface, right? Double piping is the only thing. The double piping is actually going to be risen over the padding a lot of times, and certainly to the wood, it might not be a good idea. So there's a lot of practical uses for GIMP that I like. But of course, in modern furniture, you don't want to be using it. There's really no way to use it on modern furniture. So is there another one?
No, that's it.
All right, so this is going to be a short one today, Patrick.
Oh, jeez.
I know.
You're not even 30 minutes in.
Well, that's okay. This is the calm before the storm, because when Jimmy starts to get going in these, my goal is to have 3 of these a week.
Yeah,
right?
I'm going to announce that too, because essentially what it is free YouTube
it's going to be
classes.
Free upholstery classes, but
how many are you going to do, 1 a week with him, or how's that going to work?
We're going to do at least an hour and a half every Saturday, which if you break it up into 20-minute segments.
So people want to follow along like they do with the online classes.
Well,
we're going to have to put a schedule of when we start it, and then how many weeks it's going to go, and when it ends.
I should say there's going to be a lot of content, but it's going to be staggered. It's not going to be A to Z.
Let's talk about it now more.
We can talk about it.
Yeah,
but what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to segue this. If this works, and I like what it looks like, even though we're doing a GoPro, it's going to be a little like, what was that Blair Witch Project? It's not going to be quite like that where the camera's jumping around, right?
No, I think the way we figured it out is good. We're doing it in a way where we're not going to make our online students feel like they got gypped, because now we're releasing a class for free on YouTube. It's going to be completely different than what those classes are like. It's
going to be the way I visualize it is because the quality's not as good. It's not A to Z like the online class. It's completely different.
But if you want to watch 2 guys make jokes, have fun, do a little bit of upholstery,
and then pick up little a lot of the stuff that I teach, I couldn't write it down. I couldn't begin a class and write every different procedure and every different technique with each person down. It's impossible. But when I'm teaching it, that's when you see these little tidbits come out, these little anecdotal stuff off upholstery too. People might get, if they're just looking to come in on learning how to upholster, and we had somebody once say, why doesn't he just shut up and show us? It's not going to be that.
First of all, it's impossible for you two to shut up.
Right.
It's never going to happen.
Right. It's like Jimmy and I will be talking, not to distract them, but we're going to be talking back and forth. We may get off subject a lot, but you're going to still see him upholster, techniques and everything else. It's not anything like the online classes.
No, we always wanted to do is find a way to do class on YouTube for free, but in a way where we don't, sacrifice anything from the paid classes. I think this is different enough.
It's going to be different. So all you guys who are paid, you know the value of those classes. There's very little fooling around, if any. I mean, we're really serious. Patrick is here with the camera
hours
work.
and hours of.
Yeah, Malcolm knows the camera work and everything. You're not going to get the angles that Patrick gets. I'm going to tell you that right now because it's going to be me on the GoPro.
Yeah.
I mean,
but
you
I
might.
think it's more people just want to stop in and have fun with us once a week on YouTube, like this, kind of like the Q&A.
Yeah, only more action because we're going to be filming in Arlington where I have more space. I'm going to have projects set up. This here is not much space, Patrick. So I'm going to be able to get around the 360 degrees with that GoPro, Patrick.
Yeah. And Malcolm wants to know there's going to be a GoPro on Jimmy. I wish, but I only have one GoPro.
Oh, that's funny. I don't think
Maybe we can switch it for between classes, put it on him.
No, I don't think that will work.
You don't think so?
I have to show what he's doing, right?
Yeah, his head's going to be all,
so it's gonna
all
be,
over the place.
That's funny Malcolm picked up
No,
on
we're
that.
not doing the head mount for that reason. It's going to be like a chest mount.
But I'm glad he brought that up because it's going to be like more of a narration with me. You're not going to see me. You might see my ugly hands once in a while, but that's it. It's going to be all Jimmy.
Yeah.
It might as well be the Jimmy show.
Malcolm says you should have one main camera.
Yeah,
corner,
he's
but I can't. The way we're doing it, it's so you can be there alone and just press record.
Yeah,
if I add more cameras, then
I won't be able to. Well,
try
maybe
to keep it simple, Malcolm. We can't. I'd love to have more.
He's got a good point, though.
But
I think what he's saying is he's got a good point. It adds perspective to the whole thing. Backwards.
But the more things we add with you guys, the more it's going to get complicated.
What about a second GoPro if we get our act together?
We can do that.
So we're just kind of testing the waters here. And actually, Malcolm, please let us know what you think about it, because we're going to do it this Saturday.
And in the end, it's going to be free, so if people don't like it, they stick to the queue.
But is that going to hurt the channel?
No, it'll be fine. I think it's going to just add content because we haven't been doing individual videos.
You may be surprised at some of the things Jimmy's going to come out with, and me for that matter, but because I'm trying to... there's a hidden agenda here with the format. I haven't even told Patrick about it, but it's innocent, don't worry. But there is a hidden agenda. I want to see if maybe you guys can pick up on what I'm trying to do with this idea I have. There's a couple of hidden agendas, and I just want to see if you guys can pick up on it. They're innocent enough, except that Jimmy's not innocent at all.
That's what I'm worried about.
See, what I'm trying to do is capture. I'll tell you a little bit. I'm trying to capture the innocent child that Jimmy used to be. I mean, this is
he's a monster now. What the heck?
I want to get into Jimmy's head about myself too. I want to get into Jimmy's head.
I think you guys could have that's why I said you two should have a podcast where you talk about this stuff besides the polls.
That doesn't work. We've tried that before with them. I don't know if you know that. We have tried that. It doesn't work. So that's it.
I think you got to have a base task that you're doing. That's what the upholstery is. If it's just you two sitting down,
you know what
it's going to go to a very dangerous place.
Yeah, it has to be. He has to be distracted. See, Jimmy, I have to keep Jimmy 1 or 2 steps behind me because that's the whole thing. That's the whole thing about having a sidekick, right? I cannot turn into his sidekick. That's my goal. Jimmy cannot be the main character, although he's going to be
plenty of Jimmy coming up. He's coming in here to do his class.
Oh, that's right.
Class, so he'll be back on the Q&As.
But the thing, on a serious note, with this idea, you guys will learn that Malcolm might not, and Randy might not, but people who are starting out will learn a lot from this, upholstery-wise, and the presentation, as you'll see. We'll try this out for how many? Maybe 2 or 3 Saturdays. That's going to give you at least 9 videos.
There's no way for it to go wrong.
Well,
people want to have fun.
Somehow in my future, I see a big black screen on YouTube with the X in the middle of it.
They put strike.
You better be careful.
No.
All right, well, it'll be fun. I'm looking for fun, too, Jimmy.
Yeah, we have to find a way, because I think, what do you think the reason is to why we haven't done any individual videos?
We're busy.
I think in that, and we have the locations.
The scheduling.
By the time we take something from Arlington here to the studio, it's done.
Right.
I think that's the biggest
issue
we've been having.
We are operating a business at the same time, and customers demanding their furniture back. That was a bigger problem. So we're going to be... And that explains too why there's very few A to Z's on the YouTube because of that, because of scheduling problems. And I mean, we're not just exclusively. If we were just exclusively doing YouTube, Patrick, we would have content every day of the week.
Yeah, I think we're focusing on.
We can't do that. We have to do other things. We do the best we can, and I think the channel for what we have, the library, is quite extensive, isn't it, Patrick? Do you have any idea how many videos we have? We've lost count, I think.
I was just going to, Malcolm says something here. He says, body-worn cameras are best used as a B camera, not the main view.
Oh.
Yeah, well, it's either you wear the camera, or just bring this camera and press record on that. And there's no body-worn view.
Oh, no, that we need both if you're going to have anything.
Can't have,
Now that
Can't
show
have both.
Cops, when
That's
they're showing on Cops,
right.
they have more than just the cop. Oh, there's another show on now though. It just has the body cameras, Patrick.
Yeah.
They just have the body camera, but or do they? Or am I mistaken?
No, they have a guy. Remember they got the guy with the boom mic running behind them. You remember that in Cops? Where you have the camera and the boom.
I'm not
mic?
talking about Cops. There's another show on.
Oh.
There's another show.
Live PD or something.
Yes.
Like that,
yeah.
I think that's the same way.
Is it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
All right. Well.
No, I think this is the best. If you guys want to be independent from us, from me in the
Well,
studio,
we may have to be
having
because
the whole setup.
the scheduling's a problem now. So
I think we got to
see.
keep it simple. Either pick just a tripod like this.
Let's do a
press, or-
trial period with
Yeah.
first with the one camera and see how it works. And I think Malcolm, if we have to, you're going to have to somehow get that camera. Maybe have a stationary camera in the corner of the shop that just needs a switch. Something simple.
Yeah, he's mentioning the different angles, the switchboard and all that stuff.
Yeah.
It's all here. It's not in Arlington,
Yeah.
so we have to take all the computer.
Yeah, and it doesn't. My idea won't work here.
Yes.
Because my idea is to have this is not a 360 situation.
No.
I mean, we've got the overhead here. We've got
It's perfect for the online classes.
It's perfect for the online classes.
Yeah.
Jimmy and I are on both sides of the class, and we can shift the piece of furniture gets shifted around. In this class, I may have 2 or 3 projects on horses. We have more space. 2 or 3. It's going to be like action packed,
Yeah.
Patrick. Action packed, and I'm gonna test Jimmy's skills, put him under some stress tests to see how good he is, in multitasking and all that, just to see, and have him go from one project to the next. And if this works, we could do more. We could do more with the angles, okay?
Take it here. It doesn't bring it here.
Well,
There's no way I'm taking everything apart.
you
Yeah,
can't.
there's
You
wires
can't,
all
you can't do
permanently.
this class like
Yeah.
that. You're gonna have to introduce more equipment down in Arlington.
Yeah.
Is what
But
you're
I
gonna
think
have to do.
it'll still be entertaining.
It'll be
Yeah,
entertaining.
well-
Hopefully, Malcolm could put up with the one camera for now. Well, let's just try it, But we appreciate all of the
Yeah,
feedback.
he's right.
I know
He's right about it.
I
It's
know.
just there's no way to do it if we want to do it the way we're going to do down there.
What about the audio? Is the
They're
audio?
actually not that bad.
Yeah.
I have an old GoPro too, and when I put it wasn't that bad. It'd be nice to get a new one. It is about 4 years old. There's much better ones now.
All right.
But no, the audio isn't that bad. It's a little kind of, I don't know, it's not much bass. It's a little high pitched, but for this it's going to be.
We'll see.
Who cares? I mean,
So maybe I should go
it's all for
back.
fun. Yeah.
My original Blair Witch project.
Yeah.
Maybe that's going to look more like that anyhow. Maybe we should tell Jimmy that he has to be scared the whole time. He's learning. I don't think Jimmy can pretend to be scared.
I think it'll be funny. I
He's
think there'll be a lot of jokes, and it'll be completely different from what we do. in my
Yeah,
classes.
I think with people, I'm not sure what age group Malcolm is in. I don't like to ask people their age, but Jimmy and I are up there in the 60s. So we grew up in the 60s, in the mid late 60s, our early childhood, and going into the 70s. And of course, they've made TV shows that 70s show. And I'm from an area of New England that has produced a lot of people that you might recognize out in the entertainment business, and some comedians. There's a lot of Boston comedians, and when I hear them talk, when I hear them what they do with stand up, it's like I went to school with these guys. Not them directly. I knew a couple of them, but let's say there's a dozen comedians, and they all have that same Boston sense of humor. Patrick and I were talking about this.
Yeah, but it's funny how many people. A lot of people can be funny within their group of friends.
Yeah.
Not many people can be funny on a camera. Or
That's
on a
hard
stage.
to do.
It's
That
much
is
different.
Yeah, that is hard to do. But
Anybody can.
we're hoping.
It's like sometimes you'll get the funniest person that's just hanging out.
Yeah.
Then they try to go on a stage and they're awful.
Well, because their timing's off and everything else. Well, they don't have a Jimmy in their life.
Yeah. Well, you're good with that. I'd say you're good in front of the camera.
What we're trying to do is develop that maybe as a show. Looking forward, we're not going to get off track. Don't worry with the upholstery. We're still going to offer serious online class.
YouTube show. Love that every
Yeah,
week. It'd be fun.
you know, we want to have fun too, and I think part honestly.
This is called the Upholstery Show, but we don't do much upholstery on it. It's more
Right.
talking and helping people out.
Right, but I think part of the reason if I have to be honest, we lulled a little bit on the class on those online class. I'm not on the online, but on the YouTube, is because you get a little stale and a little bored with things, Patrick.
Yeah, I think that this thing we're gonna do is more the title. The Upholstery Show fits more with that.
Well,
than
actually,
this.
we're
I
looking.
think this is more of. This could be called just live Q&A, not the Upholstery Show.
Right.
I haven't named the upholstery.
Well,
we're
we're looking for a name. I came up with the name. Patrick doesn't like it. Spring and Sprung. I'm Spring, Jimmy
Yeah, because it
Sprung.
rips off something else that already exists.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
I know there's no show out there, Spring and Sprung. Come on.
Not the exact name, but
I mean, maybe you come up with the better name.
maybe you could leave it up to the audience. What do you guys think? it
How
should be
about
called?
coconut fiber?
No, I think the Upholstery Show would be good.
Oh, the upholstery show.
Yeah.
But we don't want to disappoint people who tune in to the YouTube channels looking for advice and everything.
Yeah, this is always going to be
There's
answering
something-
people's questions and everything.
Yeah,
like
there's
that.
going to be something there.
But in my opinion, this isn't really an upholstery show. You're not doing any upholstery. Sometimes you have.
Right.
But this will kind of take the place.
This is going to be, as far as content, this will be better than this. I think.
this is more of this is important to answer people's questions
Right.
and everything like that.
Right.
Yeah.
And then what will happen is,
So the Malcolm core, COIRE, and hair. What's that?
how do you spell the first one?
COIRE.
C-O,
IRE.
Corey.
And,
Who's here, Jimmy?
oh God.
It's going to be really interesting. It's going to be really interesting.
So all I gotta do is tell you how to press record.
Yeah, well, and then you have to, the work after that is for you, the editing
Yeah,
and the chopping up. All right, well, I think we're going to go for it. So stay tuned, you guys, and hold on to your seatbelts.
Well, it's just coconut fiber. I read that when they typed it. I read that in Jimmy's voice. Coconut fiber. Oh God, here he goes again.
Oh, that's what he meant. Yeah.
Yeah.
By that show. Well, all right.
Mr. K.
You see, this is kind of like, what we have with Patrick and I. We have definitely we have a generational gap with a lot.
Jimmy
Of,
has a really funny way of.
but Jimmy and I are from the same. We're from that same era, and I think that era which has generated comedians and television shows.
Julie says
and
batting and webbing or wadding.
We're hoping that the entertainment value comes out will be true to that, and we try not to be too mean to one another, right, Patrick? Because Patrick and I were talking a Boston thing. I was in a little store. I won't tell you where it was, but these guys. It was about a group of about 10 guys, and they were older. Some were in their 80s, some were in their 50s, and they're in this little store, and they're making fun of one another like you wouldn't believe. And so I came in and. I'm looking around waiting for them to make fun of me, and the guy behind the counter, they started making fun of him. I mean, really mean stuff. We won't do this. Really mean stuff. And I asked him something. He said, "Shh." The guy said, "Shh. They're making fun of me now. I want to hear this." he was happy that they were making fun of him.
It's definitely in Boston. That's like saying you look great today. That's what I was talking about.
Yeah, but I mean, it wasn't like these were all guys. There wasn't any woman around. So some of the things I can't even tell you guys.
Like in Boston
What they were
and
saying.
in New York,
You know,
insulting someone's.
I mean, there was some
compliment.
physical, look, their mental capacity, all kinds of weird things. And he said, shh, oh, they're making fun of me. Like he was happy about it. And I mentioned that to Patrick.
That's your radio type. If you do that in the Midwest, it's going to be shocking, and you're not going to. That's going to be very insulting. Everyone's so nice out there.
I
do
think
something like that.
I have to say that these guys were a mix of military and police, so that might have had something to do with it. In those professions, I think they test you with that type of stuff, right? They test the mental stock that you have, and you have to
definitely a Northeast thing, though.
Oh, you think it's definitely?
I think it's because down south, places like that, people they're so nice, you'd feel bad about talking.
We don't want to do that. If Jimmy gets like that, I have a kind of a fun thing that I do with him. If he
get an air horn, just blow it.
No. I say that's enough of that now. You're coming after me. Now all the fun's taken out of this. See, that's what we're trying to do, and we're going to present the upholstery at the same time. So there you go. It should work.
I can hear it now. Oh, Mr. K. I'm surprised your wife let you out today.
Jimmy is a character out of, let's say, I don't know if you guys know The Honeymooners, a show like that, or Car 54, Where Are You? Things like that, shows like that, old 50s and 60s shows. And even Little Gilligan Island in there, and McHale's Navy. That because we were brought up in that time frame. I think you guys, Patrick sometimes misses a lot of the references that Jimmy and I have. Sometimes you don't know them, but he's from a different era. I don't know. We have a generational gap, him and I. I don't know a lot of his generation either. But anyhow. That's it, Patrick. I think we're going to have fun.
So look forward to that. We'll post it right away. Don't have to wait very long for that. Unlike Speaking of the wing chair.
Yeah, what about serious stuff?
Me and Michaela have been looking through it. It's a lot of good stuff. She's on, episode 6 now, Michaela? So she's about halfway done editing.
Oh, good.
So it'll definitely be up by the end of the month.
Oh, that's good. It's hard work, you guys. We keep promising that. We did say May, but now it's going to be the end of May.
No, it'll be end of May.
All right, good.
Yeah, hold on, there's some funny things here.
All right.
Tack and regulator, Gimp and the regulator.
Oh,
like that one will have to be avoided due to Pulp Fiction. Pulp Fiction references.
That's right. That happened in the class the other day. I said to the girl, "There's a barrel full of Gimp over there. Will you go get it for me?" And she started laughing. I said, "It's so funny. I have an old barrel full of Gimp." She started laughing. That was the doctor started laughing. Yeah. She thought that was funny.
Yeah.
I didn't mean it to be funny at all. So
I like Tack and the regulator, though.
Yeah,
who's Tack? You?
Well, I'm sharp, so I'd have to be Tack. And he's pointy and naggy, so he would be regulator.
Yeah, but he doesn't regulate. That's you.
It's too bad he's not German. We could call him the German regulator. Anyhow.
This is what I mean. This kind of stuff. You don't get much of this in the online class. Just keep it serious. It'll be funny.
No, I often have to
keep... You guys go crazy.
See, Jimmy, I'm going to have to straddle, I almost said straddle Jimmy. I didn't mean that.
See, there we go. As soon as you say something like that, you're not going to be able to control himself.
I'm going to have to contain Jimmy. Contain Jimmy.
It's too easy. You make it too easy.
Oftentimes, I have to contain him when he's taking a class.
Yeah.
I say things to him. You said that out loud, Jimmy.
Well, there's a bigger issue in those classes. I won't get into that. When politics start coming out.
Jimmy started talking about politics one night, and it went downhill from there.
I hate that kind of stuff. I think banned. That's got to be banned.
Yeah, we have to remind ourselves of that. Just good nature.
We don't want to divide anybody.
I kind of gave away the hidden agenda here with the 50s and 60s, shows, sitcoms, and everything. But I don't think we can. If we get in that frame of mind, I don't think we can get off.
I don't want. We're not going to give our views either way. We want to make everyone happy. We don't want to talk about politics, religion.
It is upholstery.
Upholstery's for everybody.
There's no crying in upholstery. That's my thing.
We wanted to make it for everybody, no matter what you believe.
And I have had people cry in my class. I said no crying allowed, just like the scene in that baseball movie with Tom Hanks.
That's my opinion. In my opinion, that's the best way to succeed.
I think nowadays. We got to get in that frame of mind.
Yeah, make everybody happy,
and it's going to keep within the context.
People are doing upholstery to get away from the craziness of the world.
That's exactly right. And with Jimmy still is, I consider him apprentice. He's going to be given a lot of stuff that he's not done before. So he's still in that apprentice mode. So that's going to work on that level too. So what do you think? Are we all set, Patrick?
Man, I'm not. No, I like my fair share of vulgar comedy. I wish it could pass, but it's just not gonna. I like it, but it's like.
Yeah, but you don't have to. I mentioned you don't have to. You know, there's old comedians like Jack Benny and people like that would say to the new comedians, like Eddie Murphy's, you know, you don't have to be vulgar. You know, you don't have to. But that's once you get into your routine, your comedic routine, you can't change. However, so that was said. Those old comedians could make you laugh without being vulgar.
Yeah.
So
well, I think it's a shame that you can't swear on YouTube.
Well, I mean, you know, there are young people looking at YouTube all the time, and they're in class too, looking at it.
I wish it was.
You can't. I think that.
Not that we wouldn't use it in our content, but some people, some comedians on there are funny. They happen to swear.
There's one particular comedian who is about one generation under me and one generation over you. I won't mention his name. Actually knew him. In person, I knew him.
Oh, Malcolm has a question. Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
So is the premise a non-call-in show? Yeah, it's going to be taped beforehand. It's not going to be live or anything. So
right.
But tape it beforehand.
But who knows, Patrick? If it works,
if people call in for anything, it'll probably be for this. I know there's ways to do it.
Well,
but I haven't found out the.
Maybe that's what Malcolm knows a little bit more than we do.
Yeah, Malcolm, if you have a software, you can have people call in. That'd be great. I use Wirecast for. Streaming this onto YouTube, but it'd be cool to have. This would be where the callers would call into. That'd be kind of fun if we had callers. That'd be really cool. While
the show's going on.
Yeah, have them call in. And
yeah, that would be funny. Maybe they could come to Jimmy's defense because, like I said, I try to. Jimmy's a smart guy, but I try to be one or two steps ahead of him. So that's part of the shtick, right?
Tape before recently deceased.
What's he saying?
DEC's audience.
What? What did he say? What did he say?
The tape before a recently deceased audience.
A recent deceased.
So not a live audience.
We used to pretend in the old days, remember? And we have a question from somebody way up in row number 32 up there for Jimmy.
In this case, it'd be no audience. Maybe you count the next door neighbors.
Well, it should be fun and interesting, so we'll see how it goes.
Well, guess what? With that, we're now at an hour, so.
Oh, really?
We filled in the episode pretty nicely.
We thought it was going to be a slow show, but.
Yeah, Malcolm, if you know anything like that, it'd be kind of cool to take callers, and if you know a software we could do that on. I know they exist.
Why can't we just have our cell phone on us?
We tried that, but that's not as good.
You know,
we have them call over the
we've
software.
also tried multiple people in a class like this, and that didn't work. It's too much noise. Noise level is way too loud, right, Patrick?
Yeah.
So, but I was thinking that if this does work, we could select a group of people from our regular classes and have more than just Jimmy in there.
No.
And then you get the dynamics of each student, because the students could be very interesting.
Malcolm's got some good ones today. Just put a few skeletons in chairs and cut to them when the jokes fall flat.
We have to have gimmicks.
We'll have a tumbleweed go by.
Well, can you do sound effects, Patrick, when you're editing?
Yeah, I remember I used that chicken sound effect that time for Jimmy.
Yeah, but he screwed up so many times it sounded like a hen house when he went.
I'm sure this will need a lot of that.
So the idea is to keep ahead of Jimmy and to keep his mind going and to drift his mind, not contemporary issues, because I got to tell you, I'm fed up with the contemporary issues too. And I don't want to get bogged down on anything contemporary. So if we can draw ourselves back.
Yeah, let's make it a place people can come to reminisce about the past.
Well, that's what
their childhood.
I gave it away, all right? This is one of the hidden agendas with this show.
You can't talk about anything current. That's
right. But I can talk about Gilligan and his little car there that made out of coconut fiber. Jimmy would like that.
And Andy and Ray Michaela, your favorite show.
She likes Andy Griffith?
We hear it every night. You guys watch it. We hear that whistling.
We hear it, and it's...
What's the name? Andy and
Andy Griffith.
Deputy.
Andy.
The deputy.
Bonnie.
Bonnie.
Jimmy's Bonnie, and I'm Andy. We'll give Jimmy one staple in his staple gun, like they give Bonnie one bullet. Hey, that's a good idea. You see how ideas formulate. That we'll do the opening of the show, Patrick. I'm going to take out the gun. I'm going to take one staple, and I'm going to load it. No, I'm going to make Jimmy put that one staple in his lapel pocket, because that's where Bonnie has to keep it.
Yeah, Malcolm is a good. This would be even earlier. He says set everything in World War II era.
That's really cool.
Because since you specialize in antique furniture,
that is really cool. We can have like each show can be a theme.
Unfortunately, I don't think you. I don't know. There's not many people alive who lived through that era.
Well,
anymore.
I got friends from World War II, and the stories coming out of everywhere on World War II. World War One, not so much. That's going back a little too
that's
far.
too far.
We did a Civil War YouTube, Patrick, with that chair, that Gettysburg.
Now you actually are talking about skeletons.
So we're gonna have fun. That's the main thing.
Yep.
Have fun and be informative at the same time. How many shows can say that? There was a show. We won't mention it.
So obviously, we're still going to be doing the Q&A.
Yeah, of course.
That's still going to
Yeah,
be a thing.
of course. These people rely on this too for information.
But,
So
sounds good.
I think that's going to be it, you guys. Thanks for tuning in.
So look out for that. I think I'll call it maybe the Upholstery Show.
Okay.
Lesson 1.
You're gonna.
I don't know. We'll figure it out.
I think I want to call them chapters.
And
but
change this to just live upholstery Q&A.
There is-
rather than the upholstery show.
There is one other hidden agenda that I had. I'm not sure if it's going to work, but I do want to call them chapters. Chapter 1, Chapter 2. I'll talk to that about that later.
Sounds good.
All right. I'll see you
Thanks,
guys
guys.
later. Thanks for coming, you guys.
Bye.
We got time to do that,
You have to call. I have to look 5